CME family, Betuabu, Kimbo, Natan and Zambi, Yamazulu. Yes, all praises to the Most High that sits above the heavens. We give him all the glory, all the glory belongs to him. We thank him for his love towards us. We thank for all that is happening in the earth and the restoration of the Bantus, of the chosen ones, the restoration of the kingdom. Yes, that is what's happening, family. That is the fight that is going on, the battle for the kingdom. Yes, that is what's happening. There is a battle for the kingdom. And so we must continue to be encouraged. We must continue to be strengthened. We must continue to, you know, yes, we must continue to look to the hills from whence cometh our help, for our help cometh from the Most High. Yes, Satan Zambi, so nini na nini kuswa Congo guy. Yes, whichever name we know him as in our Bantu language. CME, my beautiful queen sister, my brothers, my king brothers, CME to all of you. What a joy and a privilege it is to be alive now with all of the information, all of the knowledge we are now getting. It is just it's humbling at the same time too. Let me put it like that. Yes, it's humbling at the same time too. You know, to to be in the land of the living, number one.
To be in the land of the living.
Yes. And number two, um, to know who we are as a chosen people, to know who we are as a set apart people, to know who we are, and no longer underneath the oppressor of our spirituality, of our future. They no longer have control. We are literally grabbing hold of that scripture that says, "Come out from among them and be separate." So that means that we are in this world, but we are not of this world. We are, their systems are being operated. Yes, the beast system is being operated, the Babylonian system is being operated. But guess what? We are now finding our way out of their system, creating our own narrative, restoring our history, restoring our educational system, our, our medical system. We're restoring our governmental system, our kingdoms. We are restoring them. And no, it's not overnight and it's not instantaneously, but it is a process. And with that process, it is just so good to be able to see it happening and transpiring in our time. It didn't happen in our grandparents' time and our great grandparents' time, but it's happening in our time. And so our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren, they're going to be the beneficiaries of the restoration of the kingdom. And so I am also excited about it. Let's just lift up a word of intercession towards Satan Zambi. So Nini na Nini Kuswa Congo Gai Zaya Congo. We thank you for this day, for this truly is the day that you have made. We will continue to rejoice and be glad in it. We just hallow your name. We say, Kimbo, Latin and Zambi, Yamazulu. Glory to you, Tatan and Zambi. We thank you for the breath that we breathe, and we thank you for the sun that shines, and the moon that comes out by night, and the stars that are, and the fruit trees, and the flowers, and the air that we breathe, and the breeze that blows. We thank you for the water and all that you provide for us in this earth realm. We thank you that we are able to now truly enjoy the manifestation of all that thou hast created. Now I ask that you make the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. Let this flesh decrease that you may increase. Let them not just hear me, but hear you through me. Thou art the potter, I'm the clay. And I would just ask that you would just use me as a vessel, as an instrument to speak to your people. And I pray for the spirit of those that would hear, they that have an ear to hear would hear not what I am saying, but what the spirit is trying to relate to us, what is trying to come from your kingdom, from the spirit world into this physical world. And we give you all the Kimbo because we know you are mindful of us. And we say, Ingeta, Ingeta, Ingeta. Yes, Siemi, family. Once again, Betuabu, Bena Betus. I am just always excited to come and share what the Most High would have rest in my spirit or in my heart to share with you. And we are inside an awesome time, family. Whether you want to believe it, acknowledge it, accept it or not, we are in the best of times. The best of times is to come. You know, people, I know I hear some people say we're in the best of times and the worst of times. And I was saying that too. We're in the best of times and the worst of times at the same time. But for us that are awoke, we are in the best of times because we now know how to trend our thoughts and we know how to use our words much more wiser than we used to use our words before, because we know those of us especially that only speak the English language, we know that the English language is a spell binding language. So we must choose words that would not bind us into a spell. We must choose words that would liberate us and free us in the various English language. And so, yes, it is very important that when we speak, we don't just throw words out there, knowing now that these words have binding mechanism in them. And that's why they could put inside the scripture, life and death is in the power of our tongue. And they could put inside the scripture, whatsoever we decree shall be established, because they know that whatever we speak over ourselves, we bind ourselves to that word that we spoke. And that scripture that says the words will not return unto, they say to Tatan and Zambi, void. So our words, when we speak our words, it will not return unto us void. You understand? So our words will not return unto us void. So whatever we speak, remember, it's going to go out there into the atmosphere. It's a vibration. It's an algorithm. And it will not come back void without accomplishing that which we sent it out there to accomplish. And so we must be careful in this English language that we speak and the words that we put out there. That's why they say spelling is a spell binding language. Yes, Siemi, to all of you, much love. I am well. Kenya is beautiful. It has been gracious unto me. Listen to me. Could y'all believe it is going on to my 2-year anniversary of being in Kenya? November the 21st will be 2 years that the Most High has brought me home to the continent. I have not left the continent of Africa. Mama Africa, the motherland, the land of milk and honey, for 2 years. Yes. And so I'm excited in this new venture and this new journey that the Most High is taking me on. So if you are in Tanzania, if you are in Malawi, if you are in Zambia, if you are in Mozambique, or yes, in South Africa, you look forward to seeing me very soon. The Most High has given me some specific instructions, and so I must walk in obedience. So I solicit your prayers and your words of encouragement as we go. Let me tell you all something. I come before you live today because you see what the topic is, right? What the topic is, they erase. That's what I put there. The Most High said, I thought I heard he had said kidnap, but he said erase. They erase our memories and demonize what you call it, our spirituality, right? And demonize it through religion. Yes. So they erase our memories and demonize it through religion. So yeah, I came to speak to you on that, but I just needed to share a little bit of the excitement of being home here on the continent. There's great things here in Kenya. There's great landmarks that I'm finding in Kenya. So I know that when I go to Zambia and all of those other places, the great landmarks and treasures that I'm going to find in the kingdom of Congo. Hallelujah, because the kingdom is wide and vast. And I thank the Most High for it. But now, as I come before you with this message that the Most High has given to me about them erasing our memory. Remember now that the erasing of our memory was not done just one time only. They was consistent in what they were doing. You know, they were very much consistent in what they were doing when it came to erasing our memory. A lot of us, we watch movies for entertainment and not really look at the movies through a spiritual lens and see how they was telling us exactly what they did to us. There's a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called the what? Eraser, where they literally erase your memory and everything of yourself that you knew and reprogram you. Then we watched the movie Roots, where they beat Kunta Kinte, beat him and beat him and beat him and beat him, and keep on asking, "What's your name?" And he said, "Kunta Kinte." They said, "No, Toby." And then those of us who have family members who speak the Gichigala, that's that South, the Carolinas and stuff like that, we know that a lot of our ancestors that were there in that coastal region of Florida and stuff like that, one of the things they did with our ancestors to stop us from speaking our language was the cutting away of our tongues. So they cut away our ancestors' tongues so they could not pass on the oral history. Something to think about. Why was it so important for them to erase our memory of ourselves? Because number one, if you know who you are, you would function as a king, as a queen, as a prince, as a princess. You would function as a David, as you would function as a Superman, as a Wonder Woman. You are using those Captain Marvel characters as an avatar. You would function in that which you are if you knew. But they had to erase your memory of who you are. And then what they turn around and do? And they turn around and demonize it. Why did they demonize it? Because now here comes the colonizers giving us what? Religion, Christianity. Give us this book called the Bible with scripts inside of it. They saying, oh, it's 66 books. They put in this one book and it's all about the whole world. This JC person came and died for the whole world and all this different stuff they tell us when we know in actuality that, we didn't know. Now we know that that was a lie because a whole lot of us was captured in that movement because our ancestors gave in. I learned here in Kenya, one of the largest kingdoms that stretch from all of Uganda, parts of DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, parts of Rwanda and Burundi and Tanzania, coming into Kenya all the way down to Navasha, was a kingdom called the Wanga Kingdom. Wanga. The Wanga Kingdom was a very large kingdom. And the colonizers came in what they came in with, their Christianity. And the king that ruled at that time, they turned around and called the king a chief. You see what they did? So this man was a king sitting on the throne with a veil. Let me tell you something. And that kingdom was a well-organized kingdom, like how you only hear them talk about Munsum Mansum kingdom and the other place, but they never talk about this kingdom that was here. This is the very same area. This is the very same area that the Ashkenaz and the Khazars, those people who call themselves Jews, but are not, is that same region of the continent that they wanted it to come in. Why? Why, family? Why they wanted to come into that particular area? It wasn't Angola. It wasn't Johannesburg or Cape Town or Malawi. It was the same mass area that they wanted it to come into. Why? Because that area holds a lot of history, a lot of landmark, a lot of all of Mount Zion is in that area. Also, if they had gotten that area, they would also get Mount Elgon, which is also on the border of Kenya and Uganda. You see? And so what they have to do, they had to do a mass erasing of our memory of who we are and these kingdoms that was in place. And this kingdom was also a kingdom that forged iron from the elements of the earth without fire. These are the things I'm learning that I'm here doing my research and getting into these areas and finding out a lot of things. Some of the elders are still alive. You got people. Let me tell you something. The timeline they gave us with history is a lie. That's number one. If we could get beyond the timeline they gave us, this 2,000 years ago information they gave us, we will realize the kingdom was here 60 years ago. Uganda just had their 60th independence. Make you think. They just had their independence 60 years ago. So 60 years ago, my mother was alive, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, my grandfathers, my dad. I mean, I just a little bit short of being alive 60 years ago. You understand? So if 60 years ago, Uganda just got its independence, and Uganda got its name Uganda from the Buganda kingdom. Let's think, family. The fake Ashkenaz that are there in the Israel that they was trying to say is the real Israel. They have only been there since when? 1948. How many years ago was that? You see? So some things aren't as far gone, as far away as they make us to believe. So this is how the brainwashing was doing. So how did they get us so good with this brainwashing? Through radio programming, so through television. So television, through putting in their puppet governments, giving us what? An education system. So all of our educational systems and books, who wrote them? Where did our educational system come from that we are so proud of and puffed up about? Ashkenaz, Khazars, even to the religious education. If you have your theology degree and all this different stuff, they also come from the Ashkenaz and Khazars. How many of you know that every religion in the world bows to the Pope? Every religion, whether it's Muslim, Islam, Christianity, Buddha, Hindu, all of them bow to the Roman Catholic Church, or let me put it like this, the Roman Empire. How many of us understand this? It hasn't changed. And the Roman Empire is run by who? The Jesuits. And who are behind the Jesuits? This is an education. So I had to come and share this with us because the Most High wants us to really understand how near the history of who we are in our kingdom is, how close and near and dear to us it is. It isn't 100 years away or 10 million years away and stuff like that. Just as far as 60 years ago, Kenya, I'm not sure how long. Kenya is what, 50 something years of independence. The Bahamas is only 50, going into its 50th year next year. I mean, the longest independence is what you call it, Haiti. Haiti got its independence almost 200 years. And how many of us stand by Haiti, help to defend Haiti? Everybody turned their nose down on them, just like how they turned their nose down on Africa. It's the same thing they're doing with Haiti. Everybody's scorning and scoffing Haiti and saying Haiti is full of witchcraft and obey and voodoo and all this different stuff. But how many of us understand, yes, just as we use it for good, people use it for evil. So they use their spirituality for good to defend themselves, just like how the Mau Maus did it here. They used their spirituality for liberation and to fight against the British when they were coming in. How many other countries on the continent use their spirituality? Okay, how many of us know the story of Simon Togo? He uses what? Spirituality. Who's it? Kimbangu. Spirituality to defeat them. Give them a prophetic word. Tell them in 10 years, this is what's going to happen. Give them you understand? So they erase our memory of who we are, the powers that dwelled inside of us, the powers that we operated in, the power of what we speak into the atmosphere. They used it against us. And they turned it into witchcraft and sorcery. I'm not saying that evil is not among us. It's a balance, yin and yang, good and evil. Yes, it's among us. But our spirituality is what kept us, kept them out for hundreds of years. They didn't just invade Africa overnight at the Berlin Conference. They decided what they wanted it to do. But they sent in their what? Spies. They sent in their missionaries. That's what they did. Their spies was on a mission to divide and conquer, the old against the young. That's what they did, you know? And this is why we have to truly, I'm telling you, we truly have to wake up to who we are. Ask yourself. I would say ask the divine, but even look within yourself. They tell us in the script, the kingdom is within. We keep on looking without. We keep on looking for the prophet, the pastor, the Nabi, the this one and the next one. We keep on looking on the outside for the answer when the answer is within. I'm telling you, the answer is within us. We have the power and authority to speak to tell, to make proclamations and declarations, just as they did. They sit at that table at that Berlin conference, and they made proclamations, and they made declarations over the continent what they wanted. And look at France right now. France still hate to let go of the colonies that it had hold of. The Portuguese hate to let go. British hate to let go. They don't want to let go. They're doing everything they can to keep us colonized. And the colonization ain't coming through slavery no more. It's economic colonization now. Think about it. These banking systems is economic colonization. These paper currency is economic colonization. The Most High saying they erase our memory of who we are, the power we had, the wealth that we have. If you keep on seeing yourself as paupers, and they give us these little villages that actually were consecration camps. We didn't live in villages the way they make it to look. How they have a stack on one another inside some of these areas. That is not how we lived. Families had compounds where they could have fit 5 and 6 homes on it with their cattle. That is not including their shambas or their fields with their greens and all the different things that they grow to eat and to trade. They erase our memories of ourselves and the powers that we have and the way we battered and the way we move about the continent, glazing for greener pastures and stuff like that. How we survive and sustain ourselves. How we use the herbs to heal. This is the problem. This is why they erase our memory and they demonize they demonize us through religion. They demonize our spirituality. And you hear me saying African spirituality is our spirituality because all of us have a different level of spirituality. Even in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, in Barbados, all of us had different types of spirituality, but it was basically the same when you think about it. Because why? It came from the mother, and the mother's here up the continent. We were her offsprings. When you go down to St. Croix, when you go to St. Lucia, when you go to St. Vincent, when you go to the Dubai, the Mississippi, when you go to St. Louis, when you go to the Bahamas and to Jamaica, when you go oh goodness, I was trying to remember where they have the Mardi Gras inside America. When you go into Florida, even when you go into some places in New York, some parts of New York, and Virginia, North and South Carolina, you will see our spirituality is there. It ain't just an African spirituality. It is our spirituality. It is who we was. Yes, Louisiana, there you go. Thank you very kindly. You see our spirituality everywhere. We took it with us because it was us. We were not separated from our spirituality. Our spirituality is us. We wasn't our spirituality here and then us. No, we was our spirituality because we are our ancestors. Their DNA still running in our vein. If you do I don't encourage anybody to do no DNA testing anymore. After I learned what they're doing with your DNA at 21 and above and all these other DNA places, they're selling your DNA. You understand? I'm not encouraging it, but if you did your DNA, they could track your history. They could track you down to the 100th generation. They're looking for that Eve gene inside of you. Even right now here in Kenya, when you go in the place called Kilifi, they don't take plenty. People don't know. They're doing a lot of blood testing in that area. Why? Because they're saying there was something special about not just Kenyans, but the female and their blood. They ain't said about the male. They talk about the female. There's something special about the female blood. You understand? So our spirituality is us. Think about it. Remember, I know when a child can't sleep at night, everybody tell you tired. A black thing, I'm a cloth around their hand. That's our spirituality. Because you know why? They were scared that an ancestor was coming back to take that child as a sacrifice. They're saying they hiding we call it hiding the child. Then they tell you if somebody died, that person come back and take the next one. So you got to pray a prayer. That's our spirituality and who we are. No matter where in the world we are, we have similarities because it's our spirituality. Do you understand? So they lie to us. They lie to us. They erase our memory so we don't walk in the fullness of who we are. We don't walk in the fullness of the DNA, the blood that runs through our vein, the power that runs in us that we would use our voices individually and collectively to tear down, mash up their system. They want us to continue to be beholden to their system, run into their system. I need a loan. Why you think they mash up Black Wall Street? Why you think on the USA law book we are still only 1/3 human? Yeah, I know some people say, yeah, well, we ain't real human because of this power and the next power. But see how they dogmatically, systematically keep us, try to keep us under their feet. I watched a video the other day with this little boy, this little nice little melanated little boy on the beach. Nah, this Caucasian woman was on the side of him. He's looking at her. She putting on suntan lotion on her skin. She gave him some suntan lotion, and the little fellow, he didn't put it on his skin. He rubbed it to the bottom of his feet because the bottom of his feet is the same color of her skin. He caught the revelation. They to the bottom of us, but we allow them to lord over us when we supposed to be lord over them. You understand? Listen, and that's the truth. Many are speaking English, and let me tell you, if I could get rid of this English language off of my tongue, I would. But I understand at the same time too. I have this English language to help in part in those who speak English. You understand? But I'm trying my best to learn Kiswahili since they're making the what you call it. The African Union has made Kiswahili the language of the continent to unify us. So I'm trying to learn Kiswahili because here in Kenya, Kiswahili is the unified language to speak here. Uganda, the same thing. Well, Uganda didn't embrace Kiswahili only because they feel like it was being introduced by the Mzungus, not understanding that Kiswahili is not even an Arab language. It is a Bantu language that the Arab influenced with some of their words. That's what happened. Now, you understand? But the Kiswahili is literally a Bantu language that was influenced by the Arabs. Yeah. You understand? So Tanzania speaks Sidro. So let me tell your family, it is just simply amazing how they erase our memory. And as I was doing my some little research and stuff like that, I saw whereas there's between 440 to 680 different Bantu languages and dialect. Y'all hear me? Between 440 and 680 different Bantu language and dialect. Let me use for an example here in Kenya. The Luya is a Bantu tribe. They speak Kiswahili, but they also have their own language. And in that tribe, that one Bantu tribe, there's 18 variations of their language. Not even in the Bantu language, not even in Swahili. There's 18 variations in that language. I know the Zulus have maybe 100. I'm not sure. I have not done the deeper research on how many variations the language the Zulus have. So I don't know how much the other one. You understand me? Every tribe. Here in Kenya, you got how many different Bantu tribes? And all of them have their mother tongue. Family, what am I saying? They don't want us to come together. The other problem I find, even with us in this awakening, is the competition of language. All of us are not going to be able to speak Kiswahili or whether it's Kikongo. We try it. You could try. You understand me? But don't beat up yourself because you can't. at this time. Remember, the language will be restored by the Most High. So if there's 440 to 680, who who have the master on the language? Only the Most High, the divine creator. He has the master on the language, and he's going to be the one who's going to restore the language. We could try so we could communicate with one another. If you're in Kenya, you want to speak Kiswahili. If you're in Rwanda, whatever language they speak there. If you're inside Botswana, whatever language they speak there. I'm saying learn the language in the area you're in so you can function. Like our people inside Angola, you got to speak what Portuguese. If you're inside what you call this DRC, I think it's French. You understand different countries. So I would just encourage you to learn a language that would help you to cope in the area that you are. Because this is what they did. They erased our memory so we can have this confusion among ourselves and all this different debating and discussion about language and other stuff. And we will not know everything. We know in part, we understand in part, but that day is going to come when we all will be on the same page with the same level of understanding and the same comprehension into the language. This is why they erase our memory, because they don't want us to come together. They don't want that. They talk about the distortion of our language at the Tower of Babel and stuff like that. What was the language there? Some be saying is Kikongo. Okay, if it's Kikongo, then the Most High got to restore Kikongo in our tongues. You know, let's not get caught up in the ability to speak Kikongo, speak Kiswahili. Wherever you are, learn the language that would help you to cope in that region that you're in at this time, and wait for the Most High to restore. Don't frustrate yourself. Don't make yourself become overwhelmed because you only still can speak, like for me, only can still speak English. You're trying your best with Kiswahili, but you're still not comprehending it. After 50, some of us after 50, shucks, after 30, our brain is shut down from learning. We are limited in what we learn. That's why teaching our children between the ages of birth and 7 years old is so important. That's the most, those years are so, that's foundation. Between birth and 7 is foundational. I'm telling you as an educator also, that's foundational. What you teach them from there, from birth to 7 is foundation. Then you build upon that from 7 until we're still building. You understand? But once a strong foundation is laid, it is a good thing. So yes, they erase our memories and demonize it through religion, because why? They don't want us to return back to who we are. They don't want us to be empowered. They don't want us to see them for who they are. For the reptilians, they are. Listen to me. We say for the reptilians, they are, right? And that brought me to a conversation that I had with my Bantu sister, Mama Shanti, and she don't mind me sharing this conversation. She had a dream, or she had a thing. Whereas we start thinking they have all of our artifacts that they stole, they gain control over in their museums. And they tell us not to worship graven images, right? Carvings and pictures and all this different stuff. But our ancestors always had totem poles. Excuse me. Our ancestors back hundreds of years always had carvings in stone or in wood. Why? What were they carving images of? When we look at those images, what do they represent? What was it our ancestors saw? And so because they didn't have pen and paper, they didn't have pencils to draw, they carve it in wood and stone. What did they see? Why they try to erase that memory from us of what our ancestors saw, and they carve it in wood and they carve it in stone as a memory, or they draw it on the caves. Why? Wasn't it they telling us these are the beings that was here with us? These were the ones who helped us. Is there a message that I don't know. I'm just putting it out there that you may be able to go and do the research. You may be able to help us to understand why did our ancestors carve images in wood, in stone, and draw on the wall, in caves, on tablets of stone. Why did they do it? Why our language was never ABCD letters, but our letters, our language was pictogram, drawing a picture of something. Were they showing us something? And now they stole all those artifacts from us, so we don't know what the message was that our ancestors was leaving behind for us to know when we come on the scene. Only thing we know is what they told us. What they tell us, watch this now. Y'all help me, family. Help me. I am only here sharing why they erase our memory. Could it be that the memory they give us and tell us we were sold into slavery? I'm just saying. I'm not trying to change history. I'm just trying to open our eyes, our minds to see beyond what they tell us. Could it be that our ancestors that they took were the ones who was fighting against them invading the continent, and they took us away in ships as prisoners of war? That's it right there. Our ancestors actually who was carried away into the Caribbean, carried away into the Americas, were prisoners of war. They took us from the continent because they were the ones that were standing against them. And then they turned around and called it slavery. Because why would you then take a husband and wife and have to separate them? Could it be that you was punishing them for fighting against you coming in and colonizing the continent? I'm just, this just came in my mind, and I'm just bringing it forward as the Most High is giving me utterance into it. Just, because think about us. They did not invade the continent overnight. We fight. There was rebellions. There was revolts. That's how come you had the massacres and the mass killing. Could it be that our ancestors would jump overboard off of those ships? Didn't jump overboard because they was taken away to be slaves, but they was taken away as captives, and so they rather die before they go into anybody's prison. Could it be America was a big prison camp? Barbados was a big prison camp. Jamaica was a big prison camp. They call it plantation. Haiti was a big prison camp. I know the Bahamas, they brought the slaves to the Bahamas who were considered free slaves, but they were what we call, excuse me, but I love my country. I love where I came from. You understand, but I love the continent. I love the truth. Could it be that the ones they took to the Bahamas were what they call house slaves? Yeah, the ones who serve, you understand me? Because when I look at the Bahamas for real, that's our biggest, meanest industry is serving the white man when they come, the Mzungus when they come. Serve, we always, we got their mentality in the Bahamas. I mean, I'm just sharing with you, family, because that's the road the Most High take me down. This is where the Most High this first taking me. So I just sharing. So could it be that they made us to believe that we were sold into slavery, but actually we were prisoners of war? Could it be? Check it out. Go deeper. Let's go deeper beyond them calling us slave, because remember now, they erase our memory and they give us what they think we should know. So we see ourselves as slaves. We don't see ourselves as warriors. We don't see ourselves as freedom fighters. We don't see ourselves as conquerors. We just hear and keep on saying we were slaves. Our ancestors was in the cotton field, picking cotton and all this different stuff. Could it, I'm just, could those places be what they call prison camps? And they do all those atrocities to you, because think about what they do in the prison today. Think of what they do, what happens in the prison today. What they do to the men. They buck back and men, what they do inside those prisons and stuff like that. And in the women prisons and stuff like that. And even in the children's home, how they separate children and put them in children's home and stuff like that. What you call something protective services in America. Let's think about it. Them things ain't changed. They put it underneath a new name, but it ain't changed. The cotton field now become a prison. You're no longer in a prison called a cotton field, but now you're in a prison with 4 walls. You're in a prison called a children's home, protective custody. You're in a prison. You understand? The same thing what they do with their own names. The Roman Empire just became the Roman Catholic Church. Think about this too, family. Why they erase our memory. Even the very quote-unquote royal family, where did they come from? Germany. Ashkenaz, Khazars. Ashkenaz, Khazars. But they erase our memory, so we don't remember who these people are and what they've done. They demonize our spirituality, so we don't tap in. We don't use the sun, and we don't use the moon, and we don't use the stars, and we don't speak to the trees, and we don't speak to the animals to fight on our behalf. They demonize it. They call it, but they use it to keep us subdued. They use the powers that they came to Africa, to the continent, and watch us operate in. They stayed long enough to watch us operate in our powers and then turn around and use it against us. Okay? Y'all is barter and sell your food for leather and all this different stuff. Now we can create currency. I did a video on where the first paper dollar was made. The first paper currency was made in China. You understand this thing? We didn't have paper currency. We had gold and metal and silver and copper and titanium. They put a value to it. We just had it. We traded cattle and livestock, and we traded baskets and weaving clothing and stuff like that. That's textiles. That's what we did. We moved from place freely. We didn't have no borders, border patrol, because the land was vast and great that you could move from place to place and feed your family. That's why even when you look at the story of Abraham and Moses and all of them, they would say they stayed in this area for 3 years, or they stayed in another area for 2 years, and then they migrate to another area. Why? Were they moving around? Were they nomads? No, they stayed where the land was productive and producing for the time it was producing. Then they leave and allow it to catch itself and move on to another place to do the same thing again. Family, I love you all. You all know I love you all. I do. And that is not love with lip service. That's love from the heart. And this is what the Most High has rested inside my spirit. And so I came to you with it because I love just the way the Most High uses me to bring these things to make us think beyond just being Bantu. What else about us? They didn't tell us. What else about us they lied to us about? What else about us? You understand me? They didn't share. They don't want us to know. What else about us they don't want us to know? Hmm? What else they don't want us to know? We was everywhere. We were the first Russians. We were the first Chinese. We were the first Australians. We were the first Americans. We were the first Caribbeans. We were the first Canadians. We were the first Indians. We were everywhere. We didn't scatter. You say, oh, we were scattered abroad. No, we traveled. We were adventurers. We were explorers. We are pioneers. Think about anything that has been created by a melanated person. Anything that was made, that is made, is made by a melanated person. By melanated. Everything that was made was created by a melanated person. I think there's something in the scripture saying that anything that was made, that is made, right? Was made by a melanated person. Iron, steel, whatever. A melanated person. Cars, automobiles, lights, everything. Reversal of what you call it, petroleum to fuel. All of it is us. They came and learned at our feet. And they was impatient and they hurry up, gone back, call it Greek and Hebrew and all this different stuff. Continent, melanated people. Why you think they put in place copyrights? They put in place copyrights so when you and I create something, they will go and read and look at the patent, and then they will decide whether it will be approved or not. And when they feel like it's a good idea, they'll try to kill you off so you don't get it, and they give it to another Caucasian person and give them the patent for it to make the money from it. You know? How were the Caucasians made? Their melanin was stripped from them. Their melanin was stripped from them. That was the revelation I got. Some of them were, if you think about the story of, I think it's Naaman. I think it was Naaman, the story with Naaman, when he went to the prophet. I'm only using it as a story. They tell us that they come from the Caucasus Mountain. So you think about this. Think about it now. They tell us the melanated people came from the Caucasus Mountain. So now here comes the story of Naaman. And Naaman went to the prophet to get healed of leprosy. What leprosy is? You have melanin coming from your skin and you turning white. That's leprosy. So if leprosy is your skin turning white, hey, any which way. Anyhow, whoa. Anyhow, so now when Naaman got healed and gone back, the prophet's servant went behind Naaman and did what? Go and receive from him. So now when he went back, he was told, why did you go? My spirit went with you when you went. You all know that story, right? Because you all know I don't. And so what happened to him? That sickness, that stripping of his melanin was done to him, and he was banished. Where was he banished? He was banished to the Caucasus Mountain. Oh, my glory. Hallelujah. So could it be the same servant who got his melanin stripped from him when he went to the Caucasus Mountain is the father of the Caucasians? Because the Caucasians come from the Caucasus Mountain. Wow. Any which way, that's just a little revelation I just get just now. That's all. I hear all kind of variants of stories of where the Caucasians come from, but that just dropped in my spirit, my Mwanda just now. Yeah. So The Most High. I know. I remember the Most High. Even in terms of quote unquote Satan, he said to me, the curse that was on Satan was the fact that his melanin was stripped from him. He was not a white person. His melanin, Lucifer or whatever, Ashatan, Gadriel, he was a melanated person with all his powers, but it got stripped. His melanin got stripped from him. So that's another version. So I don't know. Maybe the Most High would reveal to somebody else a different where these Caucasian people come from. But I know they come from the Caucasus Mountain, and I know the story that they put in that book called the Bible about Naaman and the prophet and his servant who got his melanin stripped from him, and he was banished to the Caucasus Mountain. Yes, because of greed. Yes, yes, yes. So, yes, family, I thank the Most High for all of you. So let us take back our memories. Let's take back who we are. Yes, let's take it back. Let's take back our memories. Let's take back our power. Let's take back our authority. Let's decree and let's declare. Yes, the enemy of our melanin wants us demise, but they would die. They would be demise before we demise. We don't die. We multiply. We germinate. We come back stronger than we were before. Our generations are not weak back, jelly back anymore, but they are waking up and they are rising and taking their rightful places and their rightful authorities. Yes. So now it's time for us to truly educate our children with the truth. And that's it. So yes, they did it. Mind you, let me tell you, they did a good job of erasing our memory. But guess what? Our memory is being restored. Y'all remember the Matrix, right? And they plug when Leo, that's what he named, Leo or Neo, whatever his name was. When he was plugged in, he was able to see everything. When you unplug in, you can't see. So a lot of people ain't plug in. A lot of people still in the Matrix. They're still in the beast system. So they need to become unplugged from the beast system and plug in to who they are, back to our memory being restored back to us. And the time is now. The time is now. There's an old song back in the day. Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. Ain't no stopping the Bantus now. Ain't no stopping the melanated people now. We are on the move. We are waking up. We are restoring. Our kingdoms are being restored. If you're hearing more and more on the continent, especially, a lot of kings are being installed. They might not tell you all that in the diaspora on the TVs and stuff like that in the news. They ain't telling you all it, but it's happening. I'm telling you, kings and queens are being restored in their kingdoms on the continent. It's being restored. People are waking up to their kingly and priestly lineage and taking their rightful places as heads of their kingdom. I ain't calling it no tribe, the kingdom. They give us these named tribes and they give us these named chiefs. We didn't have tribes and chiefs. We had kings and queens and lords. Yes, they stole that from us. Yes, and gods. That's when you see the ancestors go up underneath the tree. They go and pray to the Most High, to the divine creator. And before they leave from underneath that tree, they got an answer and they leave and they go home. That's our people. That's the power we have, man. We got some serious power. But you know what? They tried to erase it completely. But guess what? Our DNA, our ancestors said, wake up. Wake up. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. Wake up. Get up. Know who you are. Thy son, know thyself in this hour. Don't worry about what This one say, oh, she thinks she better than somebody else. He think he, no, you know who you are. Walk in it. It ain't arrogance. It ain't pride. It's confidence. There's a difference when you're looking down at somebody versus you walking in your power and your authority. Wake up, family. Let's do this. The time is now. No time for sleep. No time for sleep now. Time to wake up. So when you see the Most High let you go to bed at 10 o'clock at night and wake you up at 3 in the morning, get up. Don't just lay there and say, okay, divine creator, touching and zombies. So no, get up, sit up. Catch your condescend. Let me just, you're gonna be able to go back to sleep. Don't think I just need to sleep a little bit. No, you're gonna be able to go back to sleep. But this is when the download is happening to you. Between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., you're getting some serious download and information and revelation. Get up, receive it. And if you have to hurry up, write it down, and then go back to sleep. That's how the Most High deal with me. I'm quite sure many of you are now in that shift. Because why? We are now, I'm not saying leveling up. It is not leveling up. We are now ascending. That's what it is. We are ascending and we are now transcending through realms, through different worlds now. I don't want to sound spooky and all the thing, but this is where we are at. This is what our ancestors did. You think they didn't have, when they didn't have plane, how they could move, how they moved around so swiftly, some of them. I'm telling you. Listen, anyhow, I love all of you. I love you. I thank the Most High for you. May the Most High make his face to shine upon you. May he lift up his countenance unto you. May he be gracious unto you, and may he grant you peace. Rise up, family. Wake up, family. Stand up, family. Take your rightful place in the kingdom. For the kingdom is being restored. You know they give us what you call that scripture, I think is inside Isaiah somewhere there, the restoration of the old waste places and the landmark and stuff like that. This is time. All our old landmark is here. All our old ruins that they burned down, break down, destroyed. It's time now to restore. Remember what they call it? Nehemiah. They tell you all the story about Nehemiah on the wall, restoring. Where those are the restorers of the bridge. Restorers of the old waste places, restorer of our history, our true story that they erased from our memory. We're the restorers. We have to do this, family. And so time for us to set our voices against what you call it, Berlin and England and America and all these places that our artifacts are at, that need to come home, that they will see with their eyes our artifacts raising up. You understand me? And walk and flying out of their museums and coming home, or disappearing from in front of them and appearing home. Yes. This is what the time is now for our artifacts that our ancestors carved and created for our knowledge to make its way back home. So let's set our intentions on the restoration of the kingdom and the return of everything that belonged to us. Even our patents that belong to us, that our melanated brothers and sisters created, all of it that will return to us. There are some patents that are life years away in creating. Let me tell you something. There's a young man here in Kenya who created a drone that a human could fly in. Yes, that a person can go in the drone and sit and fly in. You think they can give him the patent to reproduce that? We see Tesla's a thief. They're the first creators of electric cars. Electric cars was created here on the continent. Vehicles on the whole was created here on the continent. The what you call it, brothers who they say is the first to create the airplanes. They didn't create the airplanes. First airplanes was created here on the continent. They are stealers. They are robbers and thieves. Anyway, let me stop before I get upset. You understand? I can't afford to put my set my energy on them because I would just I mean everybody know my voice. I tear them down and restoration of everything belonged to us that they stole. But you see, the problem is this is why they erase our memory too. We believe everything that is white is right because they give us this white image. White is purity and white is da 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 da. When out of darkness, white came. You can't get white if you ain't got black. If you ain't got no melanin, you can't get black. I can give you all this two secrets I can share with you all today. One is the sun, when we see out there shining, reveal itself to me. The sun is not this white or this bright color they show us, this thing of fire. The sun is actually black. White coming out of darkness. So there's a dark hole with brightness coming out of it. That's the real sun. It ain't white, it's black. Yeah, I said it, I'll say it again. The real sun, sun, is black. That's why everything white come out of black. Light come out of darkness. If the sky wasn't dark, you would not see no stars. They tell you the sun illuminating the moon. That's a lie. All right. I ain't say nothing else. I finished. I say my Bayesian dialect. I done with that. You know that when it say to finish, in the Bahamian, I finish it over. It over. That's what Bahamian say. It over. I know. I can't remember how to say it, but in my American and think of but here in Africa, hey oh, okay, it over. That's it. I love your family. I do. I honestly do. I thank the Most High for each and every one of you being on this broadcast, this live with me. I thank all of you in the comment section for making your comments. I see all of you. I love all of you and everything that's inside of me. You are my soul tribe. You are my family. And I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. Be increased on purpose. Walk in the fullness of who you are. Walk in your power. Walk in your authority. Yes, and this woman right here, she know how to have fun. She know how to enjoy life. You understand? Remember now, the Most High is pricking upon my heart to really do what you call it, a road trip, to go and do some marking at some landmarks and stuff like that he has downloaded and also allowed persons to share with me some landmarks that are here on the continent. And I'm not just talking about inside South, in the South. I'm talking about from Kenya, especially. Y'all understand the name Kenya means nest of guy or nest of Yah. It's the nest. And what happens in the nest? Majority of the things happen in the nest. The nest is the birthing place. The nest is the building place. The nest is a place where after a while the babies get unrest and have to come out of the nest. There's a reason why that name Kenya is Kenya. Not because of the colonizers. Sometimes the Most High will use them to leave markers, just like how he used them to leave markers in the Bible about us. He used them to leave markers and things and stuff like that. So I got to go and see the Jordan River and what you call it, the walls of Jericho and all of them different stuff. So I am very much for me, my strength has the Most High do what he has to do and take me where he have to take me. I love you all once again, and there's nothing you could do about it. Kimbo, Natan and Zambi, Yamazulu. Kimbo, Natan and Zambi, Yamazulu. Kimbo, Natan and Zambi, Yamazulu. Oh, nakupenda sana. Matando, Masaka, Zolo, Wingy. Love each and every one of you. Have an amazing day, amazing, empowering days ahead. As we know in the Bantu calendar, we are already in the new year. According to the Gregorian calendar, we're ending their cycle of years. So we have to use their system to beat them also. Yes, we have to use their system to also beat them. So let's have empowering days that are ahead, empowering months that are ahead. And I try to not use the word WEEK because our days are not WEAK, right? Our days are not weak. And so we have empowering days, empowering months ahead of us, and empowering years as we take back the kingdom and we work together to restore the kingdom of Tatan and Zambi, so Nini na Nini Kuswa Kongo Guy, the most high divine creator. Much love, all praises. Be blessed on purpose.